we're back.
Hey, hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Old Naturalist. My name is Brandon Brzezinski.
And I am Eric Durbin, the nominal Old Naturalist.
That's right.
And I certainly am old, and I once was a naturalist.
No, you're still doing it. We're here at Secor Metro Park once again. I thought, last time we did this, I got some positive feedback.
Really?
From
Somebody liked it?
Some of our listeners.
More than one.
Yeah, more than one.
Great.
So I thought, you know what? I kind of liked it too. So, but last time we were here, we focused more on a local thing. We were talking about kind of backyard birds,
Right.
And
And I can promise you this will not be local.
this will not be local. Okay. So I don't know what Eric decided on.
And he doesn't. And I hope this meets with
Approval. Yeah, I'm sure it will.
In the last time we talked, I referred in passing to my adventures in Africa with my friend Jerry. And I thought I would revisit that before it slipped my memory entirely.
Okay.
Who has those memories? Well, myself. I mean, that's it. Jerry, a good guy, about my age. So, unfortunately, already passed away. So, who's
Jerry's not gonna.
He can't tell his story.
Okay.
So it's up to me.
Right. Yeah.
And so you're going to be the carriers from this point onward, like it or not.
Where in Africa are we gonna be at?
Well, we're going to be in South Africa.
Okay.
I had been talking about a trip he and I had taken together in Namibia, which I forced him to take. It was a nature tour in some of the more scenic and wild areas of Namibia. And he was willing to do that in order to entice me to join him on a hunting safari in South Africa. So you wonder, should the old naturalist be talking about
Hunting?
hunting?
I don't know. I mean, we've talked about how much of the marshland along the lakes was there because of hunting clubs and stuff like that. So.
Shooting clubs? Yes. Lou Campbell and Lou Clure and
Laurel Van Camp.
Laurel Van Camp. Those guys were all hunters.
Yeah.
They had they were fishermen, hunters. Some of them were trappers. They did not distinguish entirely between loving nature, loving wildlife, and occasionally killing it.
Yeah.
And certainly in Africa, they had a similar love,
You want to say love hate?
not love hate, love death relationship. In that, tourists, visiting hunters, going on safari, financed a lot of their wildlife work. Countries that
Right.
did not have a lot of income could charge large fees for wildlife hunting licenses, and then they also employed many people supporting the safaris, drivers, cooks, road loaders.
So you guys you're not shooting any guns. You're just along for the ride.
I'm along for the ride. And in Jerry's defense, or condemnation if you're a hunter, maybe, as a young kid, maybe 11, 12, he got sick. He had to stay home for a few months. And so he killed time by reading hunting stories. His family had hunters. And he read about hunting in Africa, safaris in Africa. And he went and he wrote letters to some of the safari companies in Nairobi. And
when he was that young.
when he was 12 years old, say. And he got a very nice response from Kerr and Downey, which was one of the big outfitters in Nairobi, in Kenya in those days. And they ran down they made him an offer of what they could provide in the way of a good shooting experience for maybe 4 weeks on safari with Africa, with only 2 trucks and 20
Okay.
staff.
So at 11, 12 years old, he's already planning.
He's playing. It's his dream.
Yeah.
It's a dream of a lifetime.
Right.
So gets to be middle-aged, moderately successful in the business we're in. We're co-workers. We have good friends. He's a good cook, so I'm always going to come over and eat eat dinner with him and his wife Susie. And as I said last time, he wanted Susie to join me on this trip, but she wouldn't go. She had too much good sense, and so I went instead in exchange for the
Right.
Namibia trip. So he contracted with a South African hunting company. I don't know. It was a one-man operation basically. A guy named Howard Knott, and he ran a place called Greater Kuduland Safaris, and he had a family ranch of about 28,000 acres, which is a sizable piece of property. And in that climate, you basically you raised stock that was constantly being eaten by leopards and other
Right.
predators.
You're losing a lot.
Or you tried to grow oranges and hoped that sometime it would rain in the future, and it wouldn't. And like many those big landowners, they changed their plan to providing hunting services. So he had an ad or someplace Jerry saw it, made the contact. So after we were done in Namibia, we flew to Johannesburg, and Howard met us at the airport with his small plane, and we hopped in there, and we flew off north.
Now Howard's flying the plane.
Howard's flying the plane, just
Okay.
the three of us in there, and it's his plane. He has a landing strip on the ranch, on the safari camp, and he's a funny guy. His wife actually must support the family. I think she was a pilot, a full-time pilot for South African Airlines. So she's pulling in some coin.
She's the breadwinner.
I suspect. I
Yeah.
can't believe at that time. Now he's very successful. He's continuous business right up to today, and I think there were plenty of people willing to pay him money, but it would be a very seasonal business. But
Now is Howard? This is in South Africa. Is he from South Africa, or is he?
yeah, he's a native-born South African.
He still has a considerable amount of acreage, and so
He's still offering service. You go
He's
online
still-
right now.
you could still go
You can book
Howard
right now,
Knott.
and he's still kicking. This of course. All my stories are back in time.
right.
And our safari there was I think it was 1999. Yeah, 1999.
Okay, that's not as far back as we've gone on other things, but
Yeah. Well, of course, now I'm richer, and Jerry is richer than me. So I'm hanging out with
Richard,
spending
yeah,
more money with
Yeah.
people are willing to spend money. In the old outlaw Alberta days,
No.
we would drive to Miami to get a plane because you could drive from Toledo to Miami for $50. You could. The gasoline, a small car, you could drive for $50. And no matter how cheap flights were, you can't get four guys on a plane for $50.
right.
So,
So you're there.
yes.
You're in
Oh,
South
we
Africa,
fly. He lands at his local airstrip.
right?
It's it looks very barren down there, but patches of scrub and grass and shrubbery. You find out it's actually pretty nice. It's very dry country, but it's nice desert country with lots of grass for the herbivores, the big game
Right.
animals.
Right.
He takes the first thing we do when we arrive is they take Jerry out and have him sight in a rifle. We're arriving in country without any weapons because it would have been too complicated to try to bring one from the States. So part of the deal was Howard was going to provide a.
You can't put that in your carry-on.
Yeah, it's always, it can be done, but there's all kinds of little steps you have to take.
Right.
And we didn't want to take them. So Jerry's going to use one of Howard's arsenal, and they take him out to a bench, a shooting bench, where you can sight in the rifle. And I think he only shot 3 or 4 shots before they were convinced. It was supposed to be for him to get used to the rifle or to see if you could aim it with the way it was set up. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think they were just wanting to see, can this guy
Actually,
point in the right direction? And they were satisfied that he could. Actually, I know he hit the target within 4 or 5 inches of the center of the.
Yeah.
So that's what the heck.
And he was a hunter here at home as well.
Had been slightly, yes,
Okay.
as a family thing, but
Okay.
not recently. But he wanted, this was his dream.
Now, did you ever take a shot? Did you?
No, I'm not
didn't-
touching that thing. No,
Didn't bother to even do target practice?
no.
I'm surprised at that actually. But
Oh, I've shot rifles at scout camp, but I don't have any interest in it.
well, I don't really either. But you know, when you're there, you're in Africa. You know, if they
Well, I was seduced a little bit. Now we'll come to that
Okay.
that ugly part of the story in just a minute. I'm spending too much time on the details here.
So yes, so he's
First
ready
thing-
to go.
First thing we get him set up. So then we go and look at our lot. This is a hunting trip. First we do is sight of the rifle. Then we go to look at our accommodations. He's got a hunting camp set up in a copse of trees. It's beautiful. Manicured grounds, little flower beds. They're all thatched roof cottages, but they're nice stone and brick cottages with nice tight windows and tile floors, and
Yeah, it's 1999, not 1980 something.
he's catering to basically European bow hunters, European trophy bow hunters. People when they come down from Italy or Germany or France, shoot a large antelope, a kudu or a wildebeest or a something.
Right.
A roan he has roan antelope, and then they get a nice trophy. So he caters to people expect quality accommodations, but scenic, rustic. So he's doing it upright. Oh yeah.
It's a good balance.
Well, I got to tell you the cottage. Oh, we're in the off season. The thing that's worked out great for us was he gets bigger bucks in the season, but this is off season. There's nobody else in the camp. The camp had his property had 3 safari camps set up, and ours that we were in would maybe hold maybe 20 people, and he had like a 10-person camp someplace else, and another 10-person camp someplace else. So but we were the only 2 paying customers in the area. Got a good discount. Jerry was paying $300 a day as a hunter, and I was paying $175 a day as the non-hunting companion. So that's a lot of money, you'd think. What do we get for this? We get flown into the camp. We get chauffeured around. We get the services of the white hunter and the African tracker. We get all the liquor we can drink. We get all the food we can eat. We got constant access to booze.
This is
and
all inclusive.
all inclusive.
Yeah.
You know, your wish is my command kind of thing. You know, you drop your dirty clothes on the floor in the evening, and in the
someone
morning
takes care of 'em.
there's something to disappear, and then they're back folded into starch.
Right.
It was like, you know, I could live like this. I could live like this. So yeah, they were expecting some of the guests to bring non-hunting companions, I guess their girlfriends or wives or whatever, and but Jerry and I were not a couple. Just to be clear about this, we're just good friends, So, and our cottage, the hut they gave us, the cottage, thatched roof. Doesn't look very big. It's a rendezvous, I call it, just a little round thing. The big main room is all tiled with gun safes and easy and soft cushioned couches and things, and a zebra skin rug on the floor. And then along the outside wall, the perimeter, a set of semicircular rooms around this outside. They have a private toilet space, you know, they have a private sink space with a little room with a little washbasin, a private shower space, and then 2 bedrooms that each hold 2 people. And the bedrooms are air conditioned, by the way. So we each got a bedroom. We each got, you know, it's okay.
It's a good deal. It's a good deal.
And by the way, if we get beacon between in the evening and night, we can get up and boil up some tea and have some cookies. That's in the room for us too.
Okay.
I mean, cookies in the room is not that big a deal, but you know, in darkest Africa, on safari,
That's pretty good.
where are the cookies? So we got in there. that evening we had our first dinner in our dining hall, our little dining room. It was an open air lounge. It was all these, again, the thatch roof comes down and there's these carved, varnished wooden pillars around the perimeter of this open air lounge. Again, with overstuffed, easy chairs and overstuffed couches, and there's all sorts of elephant tusks on the walls and mounted heads. And then the back of the room is the dining area, a nice long table for the 20 or so guests they might have. Beautiful furnished fixtures, the liquor cabinets there, the snack bar is over there. But then they bring out this great meal to us, and Jerry and I sit down with Howard. He comes out to, he didn't, that was only the night he ate with us, was the, no, he actually ate a couple. We had a cookout one night, he came and ate. But most of our time was spent with Robbie, who was our white hunter. And so Robbie and Howard and the two of us sat down there, had a meal with the air blowing through the African night out there. It's just gorgeous. And of course, the liquor flowed freely. We're all pretty plastered. And we finally say goodnight to everybody, and Howard and Robbie, they go off and leave someplace. So we just have to walk across the grounds, maybe 80 feet or, just across the grounds.
To get to your room.
A little cottage. And so Jerry steps off the patio, of the dining hall to the lounge, and it's going across the grounds. And I'm looking, but the lights are on. There's night lights up. There's on, and I want to get the feel of the African night. I want these lights coming to my window. So he's halfway across the ground, and I look at these light switches. I flick up a switch, and all the lights, not just the ones in the house and on, the outside, everything went black. It was like the master switch. It was complete pitch and total darkness. And we're in Africa at night, and it is pitch black suddenly. And within like 10 seconds, I hear or whatever, and a thump, and Jerry has stumbled into, around the flower beds was a shin-high wooden border of little logs. He cuts both shins to the bone, just whatever, just slashes them, and sort of spins and falls down on his butt at the same time. And it turns out, we learned afterwards, that Jerry had been developing a gout on this trip, or, he'd been...
Yeah.
And so he crashes and burns before he's even gotten...
Taking a shot. Because you turned the lights off on him.
I turned the lights off. He didn't berate me too much. But he did a little bit. I mean, you could tell in his humorous way. He's a very gentle, kind guy. Right. Just the sweetest guy in the world.
But under it,
but you could tell that he
was
like, this is very ironic that this is my lifetime goal to come here and do this, and my good friend has sabotaged me. He's just sort of an ironic kind of way. He's sort of like very understanding about it, but he doesn't sort of make it clear that's what happened. That's what he's thinking about. And it's what happened. Yeah, so that's. I'm going. See, I'm going too long yet. I always go on.
Okay. Well, where are we at?
Oh yes.
We're good.
Okay. Okay. So the next, we decided to patch up his shins and put him in bed, and we get him the next morning, have breakfast, and he's feeling pretty bad. He's feeling pretty sore, and he's feeling pretty achy. But we're going to do this thing, so we mount up. Robbie shows up in this wonderful Land Rover, old beat-up Land Rover, there's no top on it, and even the slots where the windows would crank up normally, that's been fiberglassed over. This is just an open vehicle. This is just the way it's going to be. It's going to be open. There's no. Mm-hmm. So he rolls us around here, and he's got our tracker with him, Sammy. So it's Robbie. I'm going to say now he's a European, but his position is white hunter. The person who's charged of the hunting is always the white hunter from tradition. I've had white hunters in Kenya. I mean, I've met them who are black. You know,
But they're called white hunter.
they're the white hunter.
Okay.
It's not a color; it's a position.
Okay.
The white hunter.
Interesting.
At least it wasn't back in. Politics have probably changed that even
Right.
over there,
it
but
might not be that anymore.
no, they actually called
Still?
themselves a white hunter.
Okay.
They were called white hunters by other Europeans and other Africans. They were called the white hunter.
So Robbie's the white hunter.
White hunter and
Sammy's
the
the tracker.
Yep.
Okay.
And so we're going to go out with them in the Land Rover. They got Jerry's gun is on a mount on the dashboard of the Land Rover, and of course it's right-hand drive, and Robbie gets behind the wheel, and we off into the tall grass. It's great. This is not real highways. This is a private property. So there's roads. They maintain the roads somewhat. There's good tracks, but
But you're definitely off road.
we're
right
definitely
now.
out in the boonies here, and these are like
Right.
farm lanes in Wyoming or something. Nobody else. There's no traffic out there.
Right.
Oh, about the origins of these guys. Robbie, in the off season and as needed, Robbie's main job is actually he's like the foreman of the work crews on the ranch. He's like the ranch foreman. And Sammy would have been one of the guys that would work on, and they'd dig wells in the offices. They maintain these roads, they dig wells, they maintain fences, they just what cowboys would do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that a grosbeak? Is that a female grosbeak?
Yeah, female grosbeak.
Yeah. We are at the window in wildlife.
Yeah, I saw a male. When I first got here.
Oh, you're much better than me. So these guys, when the season's on, so they'd be working hard, except during the hunting season. So when the Europeans are down there with their bows and arrows killing things,
Right.
they'd be working as trackers and hunters and things like that.
Right.
So they're pleased as punch that in the middle of the off season,
They don't
they get a
have
little
to.
vacation.
Right.
They're
We're happy
down
about
with this.
Yeah.
They know we're not going to be big tippers, but they know this is way better than digging wells.
They appreciate the
fun,
break.
the break.
Yeah.
So they're down for this. So we're all and they're out there. They're scouting and they're pointing and they're looking for stuff. And Jerry has decided he wants to hunt, to kill a impala. Do you know impalas?
They're very fast.
They're very fast. They're they're kind of equivalent to our white-tailed deer. They're very common, but they do have lovely spiral horns. And he's thinking ahead.
That's
trophy.
what he wants.
Trophy.
Now, is that cheetahs go after impalas?
Yes, they would.
Okay.
Yes, that'd be just the right size for a cheetah.
Right.
And that's what they're built for. Those fast,
Yeah.
small antelope. That
Right.
cheetahs are not heavy enough to take down a big antelope, but those smaller ones they can get,
Yeah.
and the small ones go fast also.
Mm-hmm.
So
So we have. So are they looking for them? They're looking for impalas specifically. 'Cause
yeah,
That's what
and that's
Jerry
why I was
wants.
going to say. Here's another way this way the hunting business works or worked anyway in South Africa. When you arrive at the ranch, you tell Howard or Robbie what animal you want to hunt. You just don't go out at random and just shoot anything that comes across your
Yeah,
way.
we're not Teddy Roosevelt over
Because,
here.
by the way, each animal has a fee attached to it, a license fee, and part of it's a markup by the ranch itself. This ranch is actually kind of a farm. It is fenced, and they know exactly how many of the good animals are on their property, and they know what they should charge for you to kill them. So there's actually like a shopping list. You either can shop by price, or you just say what you want to shoot.
Okay. So this isn't quite as bad as a bunch of rich guys in the United States shooting quail and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
not quite as
fencing,
bad.
But it's
20,000 acres. These animals have a chance to scamper and hide,
yeah.
but they cannot escape the ranch.
Okay.
So the way it works is you pick an animal. Say you want to shoot. Well, I remember part of the list. The top list, they had very few. I think rhinos and elephants were at the top of their list. I think the elephant was $15,000 to shoot one, and the rhinos were $12,000.
So it's again, okay, now I'm having trouble because this is a private thing.
Yes.
Fenced in.
Yes.
And you've got rhinoceros and elephants.
20,000 acres, you can do this. They actually share, they share them between ranches. There's many ranches that do this apparently.
Jeez.
And you can like go to auctions and buy things. And they're breeding. They are
And
breeding.
these animals are breeding. And,
They are breeding on their property too.
Okay.
They had extensive herds of the great antelope is the greater kudu. That's the biggest, well, eland's the biggest antelope, but kudu is almost as big, and it's got these incredible horns, beautiful head with a nice dewlap. It's just gorgeous.
How much is his Impala going to cost?
The Impala is going to be $125. Jerry, I think, even though this is his trip of his lifetime, and he's not, I'd say he's got bucks, so we've got bucks up now. No, he doesn't want to.
Right. He's not going to spend thousands of dollars.
He's going for the experience.
Right.
And also, he's not a killer. He's not trying to murder lots of animals. He's going to shoot something common that looks pretty. It looks pretty. And
right.
so that's a target animal. And the lowest animal on the list, by the way, was you could shoot a baboon. Baboons were $50. You could murder a baboon for $50. Well, you got your shopping list, and you pick out the one you want to hunt, and so that's the only thing you hunt with the guys until you either get it or your time at the ranch runs out. So it's obvious somebody would, and if you do not if you do not get that animal, there's a fine point here. You have to pay the fee. You do not pay the fee if you don't get the animal. So it's just fantasy. There's no. You can ask for an elephant for $15,000, but you don't necessarily get one.
Right.
So, but the rule is not get it if you draw blood on the animal. Then you owe the fee.
You pay the fee, but you don't. If it doesn't die.
If it just scampers away, then instead of hunting for any elephant now you got to find that elephant.
Right.
And you face that elephant until your time runs out.
Now, he's going to take home a head of an Impala.
Yeah.
And that's it, right? We're not processing this thing, and because I'm thinking, okay, what if someone did go for a elephant?
Yeah.
How does that work?
In the nearest mid-sized town, there is a huge trophy processing plant that serves all the hunting camps in. This is, by the way, this is in the far northern part of South Africa. It's only like 10 or 15 miles from Zambia, so right below the Limpopo River. We're 15 miles from the Limpopo. Everybody knows about the Nile. Everybody knows the Nile and the Congo, but the Limpopo.
This is a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you're far north, but that area is very described dry, but lots of wildlife. Kruger National Park is part of that same environment.
I'm just trying to think about, the only thing I'm thinking about is an elephant, okay? An elephant coming home on the,
What we took our trophies to the plant,
right,
and dropped them off, told them what we wanted done with them.
Okay.
And then 6 weeks later, a wooden crate showed up on my doorstep with prizes inside.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
So they do. Yeah, you don't carry it with you. The Howard and his boys take it to the processing plant, take care of it. So Jerry picked up the Impala. We went out for it. They tracked one down. He actually stalked it. He was getting stiffer as the morning went on. He was getting more.
The fall is taking its toll.
And so he was able to crouch down a little bit to track it down. And they got a shot off at one. Went down like a rock. Boom. Hit the ground. Easy peasy. And they say, congratulations, and they do the photo thing and throw it in the truck. It's 9:30 in the morning.
We're done.
Well, you'd think we might be done. We do go back to the ranch, back to the camp, and have tea. That's the important thing we got to do. I got to have tea, and a bathroom break, and Spider. Spider's our camp cook, and he cooked wonderful meals for us. He's a real skinny African guy, real skinny. That's the name, Spider. Mm-hmm. And while we're in there, he gets tea for us and gets us little cookies and things, and we're on our little veranda having a good time. And he comes bursting out of the kitchen again with a rifle. He's got, a work rifle, or 22. And there's monkeys. He sees monkeys. Vervet monkeys are in the area. These are the little nasty monkeys.
Vervet.
Okay. Also known as green monkeys. Nasty little monkeys. We hate those monkeys. And he hates them more. And he's got a gun. And he starts taking pot shots. They're out there 100 yards away. But he sees what
He's trying to scare him away, at least.
We have this open-air dining room.
They'll come down and take stuff.
They do have some French windows or something. They can close off that part of the room from the lounge. Right. So the food and beverage at night is protected. But he doesn't like them. Here's this nice guy coming out with their cookies and things. And a moment later,
he's got a gun. Hey, Africa's tough, man.
That was my scariest part.
Not any wildlife or anything. Spider coming out of the...
Hey, so the day is still young. Day is young.
Right.
So Robbie says, what do you want to shoot now? Oh, by the way, we're signed up. We're signed up for 5.5 days. We had flying in, flying out. We're there for like 5 days.
And this is day one.
The first
9:30 in the morning.
The first 3 hours of the first day, we've got breakfast,
Impala,
dead
monkeys,
dead Impala, dead monkey.
Okay, jeez Louise.
And so now, this is where Jerry's true colors show. He really wasn't interested in shooting anything else. I don't think he just wanted.
Yeah, I checked it off.
It's a bucket list, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Well, also I think he's getting very sore and very, very uninterested in riding around that Land Rover very much.
Right.
So, this is where I jump in and pitch in. Say, Jerry, I will pay the fee for another animal because I want a trophy for my house. I don't want to shoot anything. I don't want to do that. I'm not a killer. But if you
someone else kills,
if you kill it for me, I will get a trophy. Please. And of course, I lived in a little ranch that had not very high ceilings, so I couldn't have a kudu or an impala because their horns go up.
Right.
I had no high
You
ceilings.
had to mount it at the
I
floor.
went over the fireplace. I needed a kind of a wider trophy.
Right.
Had to be a wildebeest.
Wildebeest, okay.
Unfortunately, wildebeest cost $600.
So then what?
My bad, but I got one. I mean, I said, let's hunt impala. I mean, wildebeest. Let's hunt wildebeest. And if you get one, I will.
And he did.
Well, it wasn't that easy. The impala was so easy. But we got it back in the Land Rover after tea, and went out and started driving around. They're doing their scouting things, about that ridge over there, whatever. And they found one. They said, that one looks good. So, unfortunately, Jerry couldn't walk more like 3 or 4 feet from the Land Rover at this point. And although it's against the rules to shoot from the cars, the fact he was able to get out of the car, and he was a paying customer, and the only one they had, and they wanted to. This is a pressure of all commercial businesses, is they want to satisfy the customer's wishes,
right.
Even if it's not as sporting as maybe you would like. Of course, we're on a game ranch, so I don't know how sporting any of it is.
Sporting isn't exactly happening.
So Jerry, they get some. Jerry's going to shoot. He's going to shoot standing up. They don't even bend those legs anymore. They don't bend anymore. So he had kneel or squat or anything like that. So he's going to shoot standing up. Robbie finds some shooting sticks in the back, a little bipod that support the barrel, and Jerry lines it up and pulls the trigger. And there's several wildebeest, but he's got his target among this herd. And that gun goes off, and the wildebeest all jump and scamper and run away. And they all run away. They're all gone.
But wondering if he hit one?
Well, I never hit one. So Sammy goes out in the direction and looks in the ground, looks around, and he comes back with a leaf with blood on it.
Jerry's like, I have to do this again.
And Jerry's not going to be able to do it. Jerry's not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to do it. But that, of course, the animal's wounded also. See, that is a code that they want to still stick to. If the wounded animals need to be followed up on and either put out of their misery or made undangerous if they're a dangerous animal. If they're not, just make them unpain, end their pain. Find out what's going on, you know. They did throw Jerry an olive branch. I mean, they said that they figured his bullet probably had hit a twig on its way to the antelope, the wildebeest, and missed the target area, the heart area, and hit the flank. Since it was such a little amount of blood, they thought maybe it was a gut shot. That the inside sort of shifting, so it doesn't bleed much. Oh, I'm sorry. This is too personal.
No,
Folks,
no. That's all right.
should we have a disclaimer? This,
All right.
So Robbie and Sam are going to go after it themselves. They're going to see what's up. And this was one of my finest moments of my memory of my life. Robbie says, "There's drinks in the cooler. We'll be back before dark." This is 11 o'clock in the morning.
You're like, I hope so.
We are somewhere in Africa, and our guides
Are leaving.
are leaving, and we don't have any food. We do have drinks. This is good. We won't die of thirst, and we won't die of probably of anything worse. They only have 5 elephants in one of the animals that are dangerous to man. Elephants, because they're big. There's only 5 of them in the whole 20,000 acres. They don't have any lions. They know they don't have any lions. Leopards are not dangerous to adult people walking around with their
Really?
awake. No,
Okay.
they don't do that stuff. Buffalo, they had a few buffalo someplace, African buffalo, Cape buffalo, but very few. So where we're at, there was really nothing. We didn't step on a snake.
Now, I was going to mention snakes.
Snakes, that'd be a possibility, but we just sat around and
And beer.
I did bird watching. I looked at birds.
That's good.
Great birds in this place. And within about a half hour, maybe 40 minutes, let's say 40 minutes, distant shot.
Yeah.
And so my money is not going to be spent in vain, I think. They showed up a few minutes later, said, "Yeah, we got him." And we took the Land Rover, and Sammy went ahead with a panga, machete and sort of cut a track through, Robbie's maneuvering through the brush, and when they can't get around, Sammy cuts away for us, and we go back in there someplace, and here is this dead wildebeest, and Jerry poses with it, of course, because he got the first shot. The first shot.
Yeah.
He's the paying client, so he's got his picture. If we do it, the add video to this, I think we will.
Yeah.
You're going to see Jerry with his rifle and his wildebeest, and it's great. Now, in the back, they had to winch him. He's several hundred pounds, so they had to winch him in the back of the Land Rover. But that was great. We took him back in victory for lunch. I know, I'm sure it was the same wildebeest. I'm sure they didn't walk off and say,
shoot
we're not going
whatever
to go look for this thing now or ever, maybe. We don't.
Right.
Sammy and Robbie do in the bush what the agreement say come
Stays
to.
in the bush.
Yeah, exactly. So they just found another. Well, we just whacked him and said, "Okay, this will do."
Now, where is this? You have it.
Yes, it was. Yes, we each decided to take our individual trophies home. Well, first we took them to the plant, and we both got the heads mounted and the hides made into rugs. And I think we both got Europe. I definitely got a European mount, which is the head is a skull, a clean skull with the horns on it. No fake fur, no eyes,
Okay.
none of that stuff. I didn't want no eyes looking at me. So,
Reminding you that you're responsible for
Right.
that death.
Right.
Okay.
And I got rid of that hide. The rug was so heavy. These things are like cattle almost. It's like a raw. It was huge,
Yeah.
heavy thing. I didn't have space for it really. I think I tried to give it to Jerry or Susie. I don't know, maybe. So where it is today, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, my fault. I did bad. Okay, this led to one of the greatest four days of my life, because the next morning Jerry says, I'm not going out. I'm going to spend the day in the pool. They had a little pool, and I remember seeing him with his bucket hat pulled down low, his sunglasses on, floating in the water with a paperback novel in a little pool, sparkling blue water. It was nice.
Right.
He's relaxing.
But you're like, I'm in Africa. I got to go see things.
Robbie and Sammy are not giving up their responsibilities for taking care of the tourists, because they do not want to go back
Right.
to well digging and road grading and
Right.
that stuff. And they understood I was not a shotter, and from someplace they discovered they had Robbie must have had I don't remember, it's Sammy, a leather bound bird guide, a good bird guide, and we went out and I used to sit back the first day. I sat in the back with Sammy, and Jerry got to sit up in the client's seat.
Well, Jerry did go.
The first day Jerry got to sit in the front seat.
Okay.
With Robbie the driver, but now I get to sit in the front seat. I got moved up.
He's the bird guy.
Moving on up.
Yeah.
Because I'm the client now. I'm the main client.
Right.
And we went out, and what we did was we bird watched every morning for 4 days. And those guys were interested, and they were again hunter naturalists. They'd been out there all their lives, and they had heard small birds singing. They didn't know what they were. I helped them. We figured out what they were. They'd seen there's like bustards, which are like turkey-like birds. There's several ones that are very similar, that they thought some were females and others are male, and they actually two different species. And I helped them figure that out. And we went out and saw stuff. And we were checking off birds on my bird list and on their bird list
too.
It was great.
That is
It was great.
That's awesome.
Then we come back for lunch, and we always had an afternoon break. And what I would do is there were 2 water holes within 1 mile of our camp, and I would walk out to one of these water holes in the afternoon. It was hot, but I'd go from shade tree to shade tree, and just bird around and look around and do some. Again, because there's no lions, and essentially no elephants and buffalo. It was safe. It was
Yeah.
In the national parks I'd always been in. It was always too dangerous and too risky to.
Be walking around.
And the guards, it was against the rules, so the authorities didn't want you to do it. Here, you're the paying customer. You want to kill yourself in the bush?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I want to know a couple. You mentioned a couple of birds, but like, what's a few of the really good ones that were there? Can we remember any of those?
Well, there are martial eagles.
Marshall.
Martial eagles, the big eagle with the spotted breast. I've seen martial eagle in Kenya try to take antelope,
Jeez Louise.
and apparently they can't take antelope. I saw one after a young, maybe an impala.
Okay.
I encountered ostriches out walking around in the bush. I don't know. There's hoopos. Hoopos are wonderful birds with orange with black stripes that have this incredible crown.
About how big a bird is it?
Oh, it's more like a. It's a more of a small bird. It's pigeon size, maybe.
Okay.
Pigeon
All right.
size. Oh, and there are also wood hoopos, which are different kind of birds entirely. They're long, sleek black things with long black tails and a little curved bill. Oh, they're whitas. They have whitas. Oh my God. What was that whita? Was that paradise whita? It's a little finchy bird, but the tail is like, streamer tail. And it's got a little bustle. At the top of the tail, right before the butt of the bird, there's a little fin or something on that tail. It's black and white. Just good. Good. Yeah. So, yeah, there are all kinds of game in there. I mean, all kinds of other wildlife. I mean,
That's the reason I ask you that kind of question is I've told you multiple times that getting to Africa, I don't know whether that's something that'll happen for me, but if I do get there at some point, years from now, I can come back to this episode and I say, okay, this is what Eric saw. Maybe I can see those birds.
oh well, the list of birds. I should have brought a list because again, to remember what I saw in South Africa.
Right.
You can see on a trip like that trip I was on with Jerry, I probably saw 400 species of birds. I imagine pretty easily.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and we're gonna wind this down real quick here.
Yeah.
So we'd come back, and then we get to do an afternoon drive before dinner, and we'd load up. And Jerry would get on this one. We'd get Jerry in the car, and we go out with the cooler. Cooler's full, but now it's got whiskey drinks in it, and we go out someplace. Robbie would drive us out someplace, and watch the sun sort of going down. A true sundowner would have a drink out there, a shot of whiskey or a Tusker lager or something like that. Just watch the sunset before coming back. The sun slowly sets in the west.
That sounds pretty good to me.
It was a wonderful experience. The fact that it had to have hunting involved was just an unfortunate.
Yeah.
No trip is perfect.
Well, yeah, especially you could tell that to Jerry's shins too.
Yes, exactly. That was a bad thing. But I got to meet Robbie and Sammy and Howard. Saw some beautiful country, great birds, great animals, and I still have. I got rid of the wildebeest hide, but I
Still have your skull.
still have the skull in my study up there, looking down at me like a benevolent spirit.
All right. Well,
That's
hey, I'm stories like that make me think maybe I could get to Africa, South Africa. That'd be pretty cool.
Like so many of these things we talk about, you got to watch the political situation, the environmental situation, your financial situation, and then when the combination's right, you got to go for it.
There are lots of factors.
Yeah, I would not have gone to South Africa before about that time. I don't know when exactly apartheid ended, but
Right.
I wasn't going there during apartheid. No,
Right.
that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Most Americans would not have gone.
No, and yes, go when it's safe. Don't go when it's not. Is wise advice. Well, I think I'm gonna do a little bird watching today yet. So
Good idea. So not a bad day out there.
yeah.
And there's a good activity here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Well, we're happy that you joined us again for another episode of the Old Naturalist, and we'll see you again next time. I don't know what the topic will be, but
We'll figure something out.
we'll figure it out.
Okay.
See ya.
Thank you. Bye.